You heard Handelsman talking in that piece about that World War II memorial. Congressman Bill Huizenga is live in Washington right now. Congressman, I want you to set the scene because you were part of that particular piece of what you called earlier maybe civil disobedience. Tell me what happened at the World War II memorial today.
Yeah, well, you know, as the son of a disabled World War II veteran who had a chance to visit there a couple of years ago with my dad and his bomb group, when I heard about this, I knew we had to do something about it. At a minimum, I needed to go down there and say thank you and welcome them. And a number of us members were down there, and we kind of looked around and looked at each other and said, this is the dumbest thing we have ever seen. They literally have like 300 or 400 feet of barricades on the sidewalk, keeping these guys from rolling down the ramp in their wheelchairs into the memorial. It's an open-air memorial that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, until the administration decides they needed to close it. Now, and we just thought this was crazy. So a couple of my colleagues moved the fence, and we started walking the guys in and led with those bagpipes. And I got to tell you, it was probably one of the most fulfilling things I've done here in the 3 years that I've been in Washington, to be able to share that very special moment with a number of those men. I was crying right along with them.
You know, I question from some of the men who took Normandy if a few National Park Service barricades would have kept them out anyway. But here's the question: is this kind of an example of some of the things that people will be encountering over the next several days, or however long this shutdown, partial shutdown, goes along? There will be these kind of things that are in some cases going to be inconveniences, and some things more serious than that.
Yeah, inconveniences and some things more serious. And Rick, what my fear is that much like we saw earlier when the administration did this with the FAA and made threats about keeping the meat inspectors out because of budget issues, you know, closing down the White House to tours during spring break. I mean, these things are unnecessary, and I'm afraid that they're just trying to ramp up the pain to have the American people basically squawk about it. But there are some serious issues, and we've got to get to those. Now, one of the things that we're going to be doing in the House of Representatives tonight is we're going to be passing a bill that specifically funds all of our national parks and museums and get them open again. We're also going to be funding all the veterans and making sure that our vets are getting their care and their checks and those kinds of things. And that's the kind of thing I think you're going to see us do. We're going to continue to take this piece by piece by piece. The Senate hasn't wanted to cooperate with us on a broader scale, so let's give them these smaller pieces, and frankly, I just dare them to stop the funding going forward on this, because then it really is on them as to these things shutting down.
Congressman, we're almost out of time. I got to ask you a question. Give me a percentage guess on this. Tomorrow or Friday or Sunday or next Wednesday, what is the percentage chance that the House of Representatives sends a clean, continuing resolution to the U.S. Senate?
Yeah, I don't see it at this point. I think there's other strategies that need to be employed. We've got some serious reforms that need to be put in place with this government. This is not new ground. This has been done under the Carter administration, the Reagan administration, Clinton, Bush. All of the presidents have negotiated with the legislative branch, except for this one. They're refusing to do it, and we need to keep moving forward.
Congressman, thank you very much for your time.
Hey, thanks, Rick.